kind of reminded me of like a little Creed.
Watch your fucking tongue when you
Okay,
talk about Creed.
sorry.
So, and
I
then they
forgot
do
you're
the
almost
on.
40. So
It's an important band to me, damn it.
I finally
Watched.
I finally
Watched.
I
finally
watched. I
finally
watched.
I finally
Watched.
hey guys, welcome to another episode of I Finally Watched. I'm Alon.
And this is David, and today I finally watched The School of Rock.
I can't believe that you've never seen this movie.
Came out in 2003. I don't know, depending on what part of the year it came out in. I guess with where my birthday is, it would if it's probably I was 16 and I could have driven to it. I don't know. I have a weird, I guess, relationship with Jack Black. I love him in everything I see him in, but I also don't know that I've ever been like, oh, I got to go see the next Jack Black movie. This,
Okay.
although, like, I mean, I don't know. I really want to watch High Fidelity at some point, which is, I think, a lot of him in it. I This is the quintessential Jack Black movie, though, right? Like, this is kind of like the Rosetta Stone that explains the rest of Jack Black's Jack Blackness. Like,
Sure.
his
I mean,
he is his
I was
most
thinking of
pure form in this movie.
yeah, no, for sure. I think I watched Shallow Hal before this.
Yeah,
So I was 11 when this came out, and I think I watched it when I was like I didn't watch it release day. I watched it probably a couple years later. Uh, and I was thinking about this after the movie. And did you watch through the credits where they were like singing the AC/DC song, but like about the movie itself?
yeah. I watched most of it. I didn't stick around the entire time.
You should have stuck around the entire time. It was pretty fun. Problem I have with a lot of especially comedians turned actors, is that they would play a character in like a kids movie. I'm not really saying this is a kids movie, but this is definitely actually this is a perfect movie for all ages. I feel like it works out from probably like 10 years old, however old you are, as like from the kids age to Jack Black's age and beyond.
Right.
It works out. But I always had this problem with like seeing comedians in movies, in kids movies, and then going out and watching those comedians other movies and also their like stand up. 9 times out of 10 they are like super crude comedians. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Eddie Murphy's stand up
I'm familiar.
or like Bob Saget's stand
Oh,
up.
that's who I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, and then you go watch Full House or you go watch all of like Eddie Murphy's kids movies. It's like, whoa. It's like how like Robin Williams is also a good example of that. It's like he's in all of these like really like heartfelt movies, and then his stand up, or like Gilbert Godfrey is Iago in Aladdin. So you're like, oh, he's in a kids movie. He's family friendly. And Gilbert Godfrey is like anything but family friendly and anything other than Aladdin.
Okay.
And so I was caught giving Jack Black shit the other day because I was like, oh, Jack Black's kind of a sellout because all he's doing nowadays are these like fucking animated kids movies. And then School of Rock is ending and I'm watching it and I'm just like, actually, he's been doing what he's been doing for the last 20 years. And his like a more adult comedy stuff, that's the ever so often stuff. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, kind of a fucking Minecraft movie and whatever, yada yada yada. But I'm like, I shouldn't be giving him shit for that because that's the same shit I complain about other comedians for.
You know what's interesting? So you saying like, "Oh, this might have been your first Jack Black movie." I I was trying to see what mine is, and his the start of his career is so interesting. Can you guess the first what year he started acting?
I will guess arbitrarily, 1999.
1982.
Oh,
He was in an Atari commercial, then the Fall Guy in '84. But my point with this is, so he was in Demolition Man in '93. That's like I've never seen Demolition Man. I met maybe he's like some comedic relief in that. Then he's Waterworld. These are just things I'm aware of. Biodome, which Biodome is the first thing I saw him in. I don't remember him in it at all. And
I
when
don't
his
remember
name
him
in
in it
Bio,
at all either.
it says Biodome, and then it says Tenacious D. I'm wondering, like, I don't know, was a song in it? Oh wait, no, wait, On Campus with Tenacious D. I don't know. Maybe it's just he's in like one little bit in the beginning. That would make sense, I guess. So then after that, he's in The Cable Guy. He's in the movie The Fan, which we will do at one point with these are all small parts. He's in The Jackal, another small part, which is a movie I like. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, uncredited. Enemy of the State, small part. And I think his big break is High Fidelity, which we just talked about in 2000. So he was acting for fucking 20 years, 16, I guess, not counting the commercial. But then High Fidelity, Saving Silverman, which is a movie I love. And that's maybe the first time I really like clocked Jack Black as a funny guy. And Saving Silverman is also a movie we shall do. And then Shallow Hal came out the same year. So like 2000, 2001 is when he really fucking took off. Orange County, 2002.
So honestly, like 1999 is an educated guess.
Based on like, yeah, when he became famous, because he was doing a lot of like really small stuff before that.
You know what's interesting is like back in the early 2000s and 90s is it wasn't uncommon for an actor to be acting for like 10 or 15 years before recognition. I feel like today people go viral and people become famous overnight.
Well, but also like Jack Black in this, he's doing a lot of movies that are like not he's he's small parts in these like action dramatic movies, right? Which is like different than what you're saying. So in the early 2000s, he's doing a lot of like comedies, and then now Jack Black has 200 credits. So yeah, he is basically just doing everything right now. He's in an episode of Community, which I remember that was good. Like I don't I think Jack Black's just willing to always act. I think
Who do
that's
you
what
think
Jack
has more
Black's thing
acting
is.
credits, Willem Dafoe or Jack Black?
I for sure for sure Jack Black. I don't think Willem Dafoe has anywhere near this many.
No. I
By the
thought
way,
you were going to say for sure the other way around because he's older, but yeah.
this says Biodome has a 1 Metascore, which the it doesn't actually make sense. Like the math doesn't work out because it has these are the 10 scores: a 42, a 20, and then a 0, a 0, a 0, a 0, a 0, a 0, and a 0, and a 0. The New Yorker, LA Times, Variety, Washington Post, San Francisco Chronicle,
You
New
know what
York
that kind of
Times.
reminds me of is
I'll give it a 0.
That scene in Pop Star where Andy
Shit
Samberg.
emoji. Yeah.
I could imagine
I
Pauly
love
Shore coming back from like the red carpet opening and looking at the reviews, and he's like, "Well, that's not ideal."
Do you think have you've seen Biodome?
Yeah,
Do you think we should do it just to see if it holds up? Because I that is another one I have not seen for like 20 twenty
even though we
five.
even though we both seen it. I think you were saying earlier before we started recording that movies that it has been so long since either one of us has seen it. And you know, when we first started this podcast, we were kind of doing it in reference or kind of comparing movies but nostalgically back in our childhood to just see if they hold up even, right? If we still enjoy them. I think this counts. I mean, when is the last it's probably been about 10 years since I've seen Biodome. Probably longer for you.
I think 25 years. Like yeah, it's been forever. and I imagine it's terrible. There have been a couple that I haven't watched in forever that when I went back, I was like, "Oh, this is not." Oh, The
Well, you know how
Substitute,
they
right? We just did it.
well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I've never seen it though, but you know how people say like certain actors are box office poison, right? And I think our good friend Jared Leto is kind of getting to that point too with his stuff. But
You
for some
love
reason,
you love it.
for some reason
Why
he
don't you
keeps
just
getting work.
fuck him already?
Man, it's like a love hate fuck relationship.
By the
Uh
way, Willem Dafoe has 159 credits, so
oh, so
less
close,
than Jack Black.
so close. Damn,
Not really.
40 off.
Yeah, it's 80%. It's not that
Okay,
close.
well, if you look at it that way, I guess.
If you use
Um,
math.
the the box office poison that Pauly Shore gives is like on a whole nother level, especially when you hook him up to like a with a Baldwin, right? And it's like not even the most talented, probably the most annoying Baldwin, on such a level where you don't like the character, right?
Do you even remember what movie we're still doing?
Biodome.
Okay, so the other thing that this made me think about when this movie started is there are so many movies like this, and when I tried to Google that, Google was like, "What are you talking about?" As far as like School of Rock, it's like, "Oh, you mean movies about music?" But no, movies where there's two things that this really falls into. One is movies where someone tricks or commits some sort of fraud to get put into a role, and then they start doing it, and the whole movie is about, are they going to get found out? The one that really comes to mind is Big Daddy, which I had that story about how the Sprouse twins were almost in School of Rock and they just fucked up the audition, and so they didn't get it.
Right.
But Big Daddy is like the exact same movie minus like kids and like a school and music. Besides the
Big
school and the rock, it's the exact same movie.
Big Daddy is another movie we could do because it's been 20 years since I've seen that. I don't even remember what that's about. I just want to also say that this is why I need you as a co-host to keep pulling me back on track because I would have just kept going off of on Biodome.
Yeah, no, I started going through Pauly Shore's filmography, but I was like, that's just going to keep you further astray. The other type of movie this is, and this is mostly a sports movie trope, but it is being an adult being put into a situation where he has to teach or coach or some sort of community service with kids or girls or
Delinquents.
whatever, and he doesn't want to, but then he teaches them and they teach him. Like there's some tropey line about like, I'm learning as much from these kids as they're learning from me. But
Well,
you have role
that's
model.
kind of like sorry, but that's kind of like Ted Lasso, right?
Sort of. I mean, it's a very sports tropey. I mean that, but like, there's movies that are exactly follow this one. So, Role Models is sort of one. Next Goal Wins, the Taika Waititi, Michael Fassbender movie. Hardball, Mighty Ducks, Hoosiers, sort of The Replacements, Bad News Bears. To the point where there's a spoof movie that came out in either '07 or '09 called The Comebacks, which makes fun of this exact thing because it is such a sports movie thing. But that like this movie, it's a Richard Linklater movie, who's obviously great at this. He apparently passed on the movie, and then the producer was like, "The fuck you pass on this? Like, sit down with me." So Linklater was like, "Well, here's all of my problems with the script," and he's like, "Yeah, all right, you can fix those." So that's why I chose to do it. But the growth of Jack Black in this movie is so subtly and beautifully done that it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like it's thrown in your face, right? There's
Oh
like the
yeah.
one scene where Zach comes up to him and he's like, "Oh, thank you for that lesson day in class," and you see it kind of affect him. But overall, I think it's really well written, and like the story is so well done.
So what's so great about his character development is that you see him becoming like a more responsible person, but he still has that huge character flaw about wanting it all to be about him and him in the limelight
Yeah.
until the very last moment of the movie he switches. And that I think that is like kind of what makes this film work so well.
Well, even that, he gets really pissed when they lose, and then the kids are
Right.
like, "But you said that doesn't matter." He's like, "You're right, it doesn't matter." Like he's still like backsliding a little bit. The movie opens and does such a great job where Jack Black is such a manipulator, first to his roommate, played by Mike White, who also wrote this.
Oh, yeah, and I think Jack Black and him wrote a lot of the songs too, like the original songs in this
You know, Mike White's also like creator writer of The White Lotus, so
of the
he's
White
like
Lotus. Yeah.
he also did the Way Way Back, which will also be part of a theme month at some point when we ever actually do that one.
Ned Schneebly.
But he manipulates him. The only person he can't really manipulate is the girlfriend played by Sarah Silverman, which I now get what you mean when we did that last Sarah Silverman movie. Like I understand
Yeah,
now.
man. Yep.
But then the kids, every time the kids bring up some sort, I mean, every time the kids sort of bring up some issue, he's like, no, we can't tell anyone about this. And like, we got to keep it to ourselves. And then Miranda Cosgrove's like, I don't want to be a groupie. Those are sluts. And he's like, yeah, you're actually going to be the band manager. And she's like, oh, okay. Like he is the ultimate manipulator. And what happens in the movie that you really don't even notice is as the movie goes on, the manipulating sort of stops and slows down. And like, he wants to give it up before he even gets caught. He like sort of confides to the principal like, "Yeah, I'm not even really a teacher." And she's like, "No, you are." And he's like, "No, I mean I'm really not." And she's like, "No, you are." So like, I don't know, the movie just I think avoids a lot of the tropes of these movies and it's just done in a really great way.
One of the best parts of this movie is when he is ultimately caught,
Yeah.
and it, it is kind of interesting how they address this in the movie, where he's basically that like danger adult, like that dangerous adult who's like, hey, don't tell your parents we're doing this, don't tell any other adults we're doing this, and it kind of comes off as bad, like really bad.
Especially in the
and
end.
and well, they're kind of addressing it, right? They're kind of like, there's this quick misunderstanding about him touching the kids.
I love it's like your kids touched me and I think I even touched them. And all the
Yeah.
kids are like, "Oh shit."
All the parents are like, what the fuck? And what's really what's really great about that scene, one, I think for me, that's a scene that I could not watch this movie for 40 years, and that's the scene that sticks out to me the most. Um, but it's almost like, yeah, you're lucky that he's actually a decent guy, because that school just let a total weirdo just teach your kids for 3 weeks.
So there's this thing I read that Richard Linklater was really wanted to make sure that the movie was kind of grounded because I think originally a lot of the elements just like didn't really make sense, and so he's like, "Oh, we have to soundproof the class because other teachers will hear it." Even though he's like, obviously that wouldn't fully work, but we wanted you to at least know we thought about it. And so, like, one of the things is like, yeah, I mean, he's gonna be accused by those parents, whether he says it or not, of like doing stuff to those kids. Like they're like, "Why did you
Yeah,
even
he's
want
like,
this
"Hey,
if
let's
you're not?"
soundproof this classroom
Yeah,
so they can't hear you."
and don't tell your parents everything. This is our little secret.
Yeah.
Uh, I did have. I was like, would he be arrested that night? Like he runs away, but he's not being chased by the cops. He's being chased by the parents. So are you to assume that the cops are like, the jig is
Well,
up, but we're not really
there
gonna
is
we're not gonna arrest you right now?
I did have this funny Mandela effect where, not this time because I've seen this movie kind of recently, but last time I haven't watched it in a while, I remember so vividly that he was being chased down the hallway by the cops,
Yeah.
which obviously doesn't happen, but oh man, I it's just a Mandela effect that has me.
I've texted my my legal correspondent to figure out if Jack Black would have been arrested and what the charges would be. I'll get back to you when
Well,
I get
he
that
ends up
info.
going home that night being kind of like depressed, and Sarah Silverman and Mike White walk in scolding him, and but like, he's at home.
I want to have the Sarah Silverman conversation now. She reminds me so much of Walt's wife in Breaking Bad, in that there is now, she was a very hated character, and there's now this like resurrection of, I don't know, Mrs. White. I don't know what her first name is in the show,
Skylar.
saying like Skylar, thank you, like that she was in the right. Walter White is a drug dealer. People rooting for him. La da 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 da. I watched the first 2 seasons of Breaking Bad 2 times. I tried to get into it. I just couldn't. I realized that if I'd kept with it, the later seasons probably like. But anyway, the reason people hate Skylar is because that character was a bitch from episode 1 before he even dealt drugs. Like Walter just finds out he has cancer and he's like gone for a couple hours and she starts yelling at him, "Where are you?" Like he's fucking under house arrest. That's why people
Yep.
hate that character.
No, you idiot. He kept the cancer diagnosis away from her.
I
She didn't
know.
know he had cancer.
I know. But in the first episode or two, he's like off by himself and she's like, "Where are you? Why are you not like come home?" She's overbearing. That's why people don't like her. The fact that he then starts stealing drugs and she continues to be that way, that just lends credence to that. I still think, yeah, he's a bad
You
guy
you
in the
go
movie.
you go away. You go away from your house and 3 kids for a couple hours without telling your wife, and
They had
let's
they
ask
have
her
one
what you think.
they have one son in high school. Like at this point, they don't even want to be around each other. Anyway, the Sarah Silverman character, she is obviously completely correct. The problem is she seems like such a bitch that her motivation doesn't seem to be in the right place. It's not like, oh, he's teaching these kids he shouldn't be around kids. It's like, oh, I'm going to call the cops on him because I don't like this guy. I'm going to get him in trouble.
But what
Like
about
that's
even
why she's
before that?
unlikable. And
She sees her boyfriend essentially getting pushed around by this guy over and over and over again. And yeah. I mean, we're not supposed to like her. The movie sets it up where we're supposed to think of her as the biggest bitch in the world. But like you said, she is actually not wrong in anything that she says and in anything that she brings up. And she just keeps seeing her boyfriend getting like manipulated and put down by Dewey Finn, but we but we still fucking hate her.
we do. Also, she's so incredibly hot in this movie. And then, I mean, one of the things Linklater had to put in here was Ned being like, dude, I can never get someone like this again. Like, I can't fuck this up.
It's interesting is like this movie, and I think a movie like this probably would have some sort of romantic interest for Dewey Finn, like maybe like another
It's the
teacher.
principle. It's the
Well,
principle.
they set it up almost to be that, and then they totally kind of back away from that.
Yeah, no, and I guess in the musical they do date. I think the original script had it happening and they sort of get close to that in here, but it's almost like it feels like it's something that still might have happened but just was like unaddressed by the end of the movie. You know what I mean?
No, she ends up with Spider from the other band. What are you talking about?
I don't think she ends up with Spider.
That guy, you do you know the lore with him?
He's now a lawyer.
Oh, he's a attorney.
That's yeah, that's the word I
That's
use.
that's another word for lawyer. Good.
So Garrett said that he could be charged with fraud and identity theft. Teaching without credentials would also be fraud. Potential kidnapping and child endangerment. And I was like, well, would that mean he would be arrested right then? He said, probably some investigating and fact finding first. So it may make sense that he got to go home that night.
So the Spider guy is actually the district attorney in Texas, and he headed the indictment of Netflix for, remember a couple like back in 2020 when they released that Cuties documentary about
The
the
girls.
the girls. He led the indictment of Netflix for allegedly distributing lewd content through the release of Cuties. So he was like one of those main people.
You really liked that Cuties show, didn't you? So,
Ha ha ha. Funny.
all right. So, I mean, the opening credits where it has like Linklater's name, the producer's name, Jack Black, and then it says the School of Rock. When I opened this, I said the School of Rock, but it's actually School of Rock. But they changed the name after they'd already made that, and so Linklater's like, "Fuck, I'll just leave it in." But I thought that was really like inventive and cool to have it that way as they walk through, and it's just be like actual physical, like the names on the wall.
Yeah, I love it. I like the back of the jacket, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he gets fired from his band and takes the sub job for Ned, which is just classic
Dude, I love
hijinks are
that
gonna
whole phone
ensue.
call. That whole phone call where he's like, "Oh, he just walked through the door and he's fucking with the phone." He's like, "Hello, this is Ned Schneebly."
Like she knows what he sounds like. So then he's like, gets there. He's like, "Can I get paid early? Can I leave early?" And then he's like, "Oh, if the kids are out of line, I'll smack them." She's like, "We don't believe in corporal punishment here." He's like, "Oh, so just verbal abuse."
She actually doesn't end up being like a bad principal. It's just everyone thinks of her as like this total hard ass, and I guess she is. But there's this scene where she's telling a little girl like she better not she better behave, and the little girl is like on the brink of crying the entire time.
Yeah.
But she's actually not like a bad principal.
She's too high strung because she says the job is so demanding because of all the parents. So I love when we start the new project and he's like, "This will test your head and your mind and even your brain." Can we tell
Yeah,
our
it's
parents
great.
no? The getting the band together scene is like kind of the next pivotal scene where instead of like we already know that all these kids have to be in the band, but he's like naming all of them. And then he's like, the little girl's like, "You're the groupies." And then I love the pledge, like, "We will not fight for creative control. We will not try to kick you out no matter what." Just like because of what happened in
Oh
his
my
previous
god,
one.
because he was protecting himself, like as opposed to the other band he was a part of. I didn't think about it that way.
Did Miranda Cosgrove has that like, she has that meme where she like purses her lips looking at the computer screen. But this where this is from? Like the impetus of this. She sort of does that in this movie too. Like gives that look, like that judgmental look.
I mean, Miranda Cosgrove at this age is playing like the same character essentially in everything she's doing, right? I mean, I think she's killing it, for like a little kid actor, she's killing it. But like when she's Drake and Josh's sister, I think she's a little older. Maybe
Yeah,
not. Maybe she's just around this age, but
she's older.
she's like a tattle. She's like the tattletale. Have you ever seen Phineas and Ferb?
Yeah, my
She's
son
like
loves it.
she's the little
Candace,
kid
she's
version of
Candace.
Candace. Yeah, pretty much.
So Miranda Cosgrove, this is her first movie. She did one other thing before this, and it's a show you love. She voiced Lana Lang on one episode of Smallville, uncredited.
She voiced
Yeah, a young Lana Lang.
like she wasn't even in it. She just
I
was
wonder
like a
if it has to
background
be.
voice.
I wonder if it has to be the pilot. No, she's
Man,
in the pilot. Yeah, she was in the
she's in the
pilot.
pilot.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
So she
it
was
makes
that
sense.
little girl. That's crazy.
Well, no, it says voice, uncredited.
So it's
I
like an
wonder if
off-screen voice. I don't know.
or wonder if they show a different little girl, but they use Miranda Cosgrove's voice. So this is,
They could.
for all intents and purposes, this is her first role. I'm glad
Sure.
we've established that. I love the Tamika scene where we find out she can sing, but she's just sort of scared. And then like later on too, she's like, "Oh, what if they'll make fun of me because I'm fat?" And he's like, "Aretha Franklin was a big lady. Do you know about her?" And he's like, "And you know who else is kind of big and doesn't like his body? Me."
I think the moments, and he mentions this later on in the movie, but the moments with Zach and the moments with Tamika are the two most powerful moments for him in this movie.
Yeah, I love the idea that the teachers are not like upset with him. That obviously is a decision that can go either way. Like you could have had, if you don't have the Sarah Silverman character, right? You could have a teacher that is like, "I don't know about this guy," and like ends up getting him caught, right? Like looks into it. That's the other way the script could have gone.
I
But I love
guess,
that
but
the
the
teach.
only other fucking person that checks in on them is the principal repeatedly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the movie up until he gets caught, the movie has no conflict or no potential of him getting caught. Right? He breaks the kids out of school, and there's like no one notices. It, like no one even almost comes close to noticing. Like it's like the one time the principal walks by and they like play the video recording of him talking.
Dude, that's so good. Okay, and what's the third ship? The Santa Marina. Very good. Actually, it's
Very
the
good.
Santa Maria. Like that whole thing. Um
I love
the
when they sing later and she's like, "It's 9." He's like, "No, it's 8." And she's like, "It's 9." He's like, "I was testing you."
yeah, I was just about to mention that too. It's so good.
My wife, you're tacky and I hate you. Uh, I don't know. I read something that so Mike White, I guess, is bisexual and he didn't like that they overly gayed that kid. The kid's gay in real life, but they like made him like more flamboyant, I guess, for the movie in the way he
You
acted.
threw so many things at me at that moment. Sorry. What about your wife?
Oh, my wife loves the line "You're tacky and I hate you." She said it for
Oh.
most of our relationship. We
Oh,
talked about this off air, but I guess I
is it
didn't
because
explain
you're
that to the audience.
tacky? Is it because you're
And she
tacky and she
hates
hates
me.
you? Okay.
Correct. Yeah. That's something we're dealing with, though.
Couples therapy.
So after Zach thanks him and he like has that smile, it's a great montage. A great
Yeah,
montage of the
awesome.
kids learning, like building shit, singing. Oh, by the way, I do want to say apparently Miranda Cosgrove can actually sing, and she had to take lessons on how to sing poorly for this. But she, in like a DVD commentary or whatever, was like had to prove that she could actually sing, so she sings on it. She was like,
I
I'm a
I love
singer."
them proving to sing. Like one girl does, the sun will come out tomorrow, and then when it's Miranda Cosgrove's turn, she does fucking memory by Cats.
Yeah. So I think this is also it's a little bit tropey, like lying about being terminal to get on the Battle of the Bands, to the point where it's like they didn't even have to audition for the Battle of the Bands; they just get to be in it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, like
I
we're just
love
gonna
that.
skip over this part.
And it's Miranda Cosgrove's idea. It's
Yeah,
Summer's idea, which is so good. I lied. There is another big moment, like character growth for him that he has with one of the kids, and that's Freddie Jones, the drummer. And he
yeah,
loses him and he finds him in the back of a van with like a couple of guys, right? Nothing
yeah,
nefarious, but he gives this great line to the guys, which just a couple months ago was just him, right?
yeah.
But he's like, "Don't make me come back here."
Is that the great line? I thought the great line was like, you're a role model to these kids. He's someone speaking to his former self there. Next great
Exactly.
scene is when he takes the principal out for coffee, but then he just takes her to a bar. And he's one doing it to butter her up so he can go on the field trip, which is really just to the Battle of the Bands. But then two, he had heard earlier that she had gotten drunk one time and she loved to sing Stevie Nicks. So he gets her a beer and then puts on Stevie Nicks to like you think to like woo her, but it's really just to like I guess woo her into allowing the field trip.
Well, he's still in his manipulative state.
Correct.
I love
And he's
how
he's so good at it.
no he is. So riddle me this, Batman. If Sarah Silverman was like, you have to the end of the week to make up for the $2,200 that you owe us, but it takes him, but he only earns $650 every week. I'm sure his check isn't cut right then and there. It takes 3 weeks to teach these kids how to be in a band. So essentially, wouldn't he have gotten kicked out long before?
Also, 650 plus 650 is 1,300, but I don't know taxes. I don't know how that would have worked
Well,
in
he
this
did sell his
situation.
guitar, didn't he? Like it did show a kind of a thing that he was trying to sell his
He
guitar.
tried to. I mean, the movie sort of yada yada is that point of like, did he pay and all that, and the idea that he's like, I told them to make it out to cash, and that they sent it to this address instead of giving it to him, and that he didn't keep checking up on it is like a little bit of like a the story just you just gotta believe that that part happened,
Well,
right?
actually, I like that part because it shows that he forgot that he was doing it for the money and he was more focused on doing it for the kids.
That's true. So then after the date that's not a date, she's like, I love that he's singing to her and she's like, "Would you stop that, please? I had a really nice time." And then she talks about how all the teachers like hate her and I wasn't always wound this tight. And he's like, "I think you're cool." She's like, "No, you don't." And then he like can't even almost say it again. He's like, No, you're cool."
I
So
don't
next
know about you. You know, you were saying earlier that you thought Sarah Silverman was very hot in this movie. Joan Cusack is kind of doing it for me
is she? That's
a little bit, a little
you
bit.
got a that's a principal fantasy you got there.
She's
That's
got that
interesting.
like, you know, you know,
Okay. That's good to know. I mean,
you know.
thank you for the information. I think the next cool scene is Zach writing the song and then practicing it. And he's like, "That's what bands do. Like, you have a song, we're gonna practice it, we're gonna play it." And then he's like, "Let me just put a rock solo in right here," which is like, so he hasn't grown in all areas. Like the other band was like, "Yeah, you fucking
Exactly,
just you like take." Although his rock solo was pretty short, so maybe that is the growth.
and it's
Uh,
awesome.
it was very good. Then we get to
Hmm.
the parent teacher conference, and she's like, "Do you want to drive me?" And he's like, "I wasn't planning on going to that." She's like, "You have to go. You're doing a presentation." He's like, "I'm just joking. Yeah, I'll go."
Would they do that though? Would they have a substitute go to the PTA,
What's not parent teacher conference?
the PTC?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I usually those are like one-on-one meetings, and it's like if the teacher wants to, or like if the teacher wants it, or if the parent wants it. Like, I don't know. It's whatever. It's a device. So then Ned finds out he's clearly going to tell Roz, and then
It's
she's
also
clearly
really
gonna.
ironic that the parent teacher conference is the day before the Battle of the Bands.
It's the day before the Battle of the Bands. The cops are outside. We already talked about your kids touched me and I touched them. And then he runs, ends up back at the apartment. It was easy for me to get. He's talking to his roommate and he's like, "It was just so easy for you to give up music." He's like, "No, it wasn't." He's like, "I just, I had to move on." But anyway, my point is, the next day after the parent teacher conference, all the parents decide to show back up at the principal, which is a point I brought up to my wife, and she's like, "Oh, the principal probably scheduled that." And I was like, "Well, they didn't tell us that." I was like, "So it just looks like all the parents either just stayed there overnight or just decided to all show up at the exact same time the next morning, like when they drop their
I
kids
believe
off. They're
it.
like,
I
we're not
believe
done
it.
here."
It's one of my favorite line deliveries in the entire movie is when she realizes that all the kids are missing. She goes back into the room full of parents and she goes, "Well,
I've just been informed.
I've just been informed that all your kids are missing."
Yeah,
It's
it's so
so
good.
great.
So the kids decide to do the show and they go wake up Jack Black, who then is like, "All right, let's do it." And they walk past Sarah Silverman, who she's immediately, I don't know who she's going to call actually. The cops again?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Like, is she calling the cops? Is she going to call the school? I don't really know.
Well,
And
the cops never show up to the Battle of the Bands, but all the teachers and the principal and the parents do. But that's because I wonder actually, do they know where they're going
I think she must have called the school, is what you're supposed to believe there, right?
and told
And
them where
then
they were going? Yeah.
the roommate Ned is like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the Battle of the Band." She's like, "You have to stop being such a pushover." And he slams the door because he's like, "Yes, I agree. Like that is, I
I
do agree.
also
I have
thought
to."
that whole character arc of Ned is really great because he is being pushed over by these two people in his lives this entire movie, right?
Yeah,
But the one who's telling him he has to stop being such a pushover is the pushiest one.
right. And even though she's right, she's just going about it kind of
Uh,
all wrong.
there's this great line right before that the same night that he was caught where he was telling Sarah Silverman, "You told me to be like Ned," and she goes, "Yeah, be like Ned, not be Ned." And I was like, "Well, you know what, bitch, you weren't that specific." So
So they decide to play Zach's song as the parents get there, and I like the movie is really concerned about the timing of all this. It is going to great lengths to make it all like fit. So they get to the Battle of the Bands and like you're on next. So it's not like we're waiting like for 15 other bands before our turn. It's like, all right, you get to go
And
right
well, not
now.
only that, but the biggest coincidence is that his old band is playing before.
Right. But then the parents show up and they're like, "Oh, we got to get backstage." And like, this is like the best security in the world for this Battle of the Bands. The ticket guy's like, "I'm not letting you through without tickets." And the principal's like, "All right, well, maybe we should just go buy tickets." And then as they walk up through the crowd, their kids are on stage, and it's like, "All right, well, it's too late to stop it." Like the movie is very concerned that this works out perfectly to where it's not like, oh, they're not in the crowd for 5 minutes waiting around. Like they would, try and barge to the back. It's like, oh, well, our kid's already playing. I guess let's just listen to it. And then
I
I
do think
mean,
it's so funny that a group of angry parents are strong enough to get to like the front stage.
they just bum rushed it. I like the Asian dad saying to Zach's dad, "Oh, your kid's really good." He's like, "Yeah, your kid's good too."
Yeah.
And then they lose in like a very bullshit way to where the crowd's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Who who do you think actually had the better song?
I thought the School Rock Kids did. I like their song better. I thought I mean, the lyrics are kind of like whatever, obviously for like a song. The No Vacancy one, I was like, this one just doesn't make me move at all. Like it's so unenergetic.
Kind of reminded me of like a little Creed.
Watch your fucking tongue when
Okay.
you talk about Creed.
Sorry.
So, and then
I
they
forgot
do
you're
the
almost 40. So
it's an important band to me, damn it.
okay.
Then they do the encore, and then we get sort of an epilogue where we see like what becomes of this, the after school program. So that's it.
I love this movie, dude. I think like I don't know about you, but at the end where okay, so I don't cry during this movie, except there's one part that I tear up in every fucking time. Can you guess what it is?
When he hugs Tamika when she doesn't want to sing.
You're close. It's when Tamika is belting out her solo and it cuts to her parents.
Oh
I
yeah,
was like,
it's
oh
good.
fuck, dude. I was like, damn it, it's got me again. No, I love this movie. I think it has like a lot of heart in it, and it's funny and meaningful, and like actually the kids aren't half bad for
Yeah,
real.
so as I said earlier, this movie could be very tropey, and it is just written very perfectly, which obviously kind of makes sense with who the writer is, who the director is, and kind of like that vision. Only one fun fact that I haven't already said, which is apparently during the movie, Jack Black switches his part in his hair from left to right, depending on whether he's being Dewey or playing Ned, which I did not notice at all.
That's fun.
So, yeah, I loved it too. I am glad that I finally watched it. That's the whole point of this thing. So, thanks for listening to another episode of I Finally Watched. This is David.
And this is Alon.
And I finally watched School of Rock.